Have you ever made a mistake that you just really, really regret? Well, I'm just gonna say it, us Doberman owners, we make a lot of mistakes with our dogs, and it often leads to some really bad outcomes. It's not our fault, especially when it's our first Doberman, because, well, just so many of us aren't used to dogs who think and act so differently from other breeds. And actually, okay, one of you even pointed out like a really big oversight I've made right here on this very channel. It blows my mind that this has been overlooked. All that happening right here only on Doberman Planet. All right, Agape or something like that said, I had an American Doberman when I was 17 and he was my first dog. I did not train him to wait for approval to get food, and that made all the difference. One day, he growled at me at 5 months and I gave up, which reinforced his dominance over me, which led to food and touch aggression. I had to give him to a shelter. Accidentally ending up with an overly dominant Doberman is so easy to do. And honestly, if I had to guess, that dog probably maybe had some dominance tendencies anyway, and it probably wasn't that one incident that led to this. It probably was a start of a cascading effect. But yeah, that's so easy to do. If you don't set these hard boundaries, these firm boundaries of your expectations, the dog learns from that, especially at that age. And it was probably a cascading effect for this owner, I would imagine, from here. But yes, if you're not careful, and I've seen this happen to really busy people who work a lot and have no time, they'll give in once to a demand from the dog, then the dog will get more pushy next time. It's easier to give in the next time. Before you know it, you have an adult Doberman who has some serious aggression or possessiveness issues over their food. Now, Brian's big mistake, he said, my Doberman is on my lap in the bathroom every day, 100 pounds of I give no f***s dog. This what mothers must be talking about. No privacy. I made the mistake of telling her she was my baby and I love her most. Well, 100 pounds of I give no f***s dog is, yeah, it's an issue when they're crawling up in your lap when you're going to the bathroom. My guess is this owner did more than just tell the dog that she was his baby and that he loved her most. Probably also treated her that way, gave her priority over everything, and now this dominant, intelligent Doberman certainly pushing their way into his lap in every scenario, even forcing his way or her way into the bathroom. Another one of my viewers, Gary, his big mistake? Well, he said not starting things like nail clipping, bathing, and really nailing down lead walking very early on. Much harder with a 20 kilogram dog, and they get to that weight very quickly. And by the way, 20 kilograms, it's about 44 pounds or so. And actually this comment went with another comment from Idriani, who said, hi, I'm from India. My 3-year-old girl, Misha, wasn't desensitized to nails getting trimmed, so she needs to be muzzled every time and is so distressed. I wish I could have done things differently from the beginning. Both these comments go together. Both these people wish that they had kind of desensitized their dog early on to some things. This is part of socialization, introducing them to new experiences, right? Part of desensitizing them is turning on that nail clipper, just letting them look at it for a little bit, and then showing them it's nothing to be scared of, and then maybe just touching it once to their nail and just going on from there, even when they're young, even when it weirds them out. Don't force them into it, go slow, but yes, this is a big mistake if you don't do it. They're certainly not gonna be as open to that experience when they're older, that's for sure, and you might have a Doberman who really freaks out and actually is almost borderline traumatized when you finally go to cut their nails when they're older. Dagmara said, I let Hector bite my hands during the puppy stage, and when he became older, he caught my arm when he was mad, and I was trying to make him calm. Super common with Dobermans. It's so easy when they're young to just soothe them by giving them your hand. You guys know what I'm talking about. Some of you owners out there watching this right now. You give them your hand and they gnaw on it, and they're so cute because, you know, they're only 10 weeks old or 12 weeks old or 16 weeks old or whatever, and they're gnawing on your hand, and they're starting to calm down a little bit. Don't let them do that. Make your hand really foreign to them. Don't fall into this mistake. It's so easy to do because it calms them down and is kind of cute. Guess what? Not so cute when they're 100 pounds and they're 2 years old and they're now really used to having their teeth on your arms or on your hands. Can really backfire on you. Next from Suzanne, and by the way, I love Suzanne. She comments all the time. Suzanne, you are awesome. But she said, in hindsight, I would have taken our dog to a cardiologist early on so that we would have known about DCM. Maybe we could have given him meds and taken better care to help him live longer. We actually did not know there is such a thing as a cardiologist for dogs. We played a lot with our dog and he got a lot of hard exercise, but now I wonder if that didn't exacerbate the situation. You know, honestly, Suzanne, first of all, you can't judge yourself for that. Second of all, they say that most Dobermans only survive about 6 months after a diagnosis of DCM, which is dilated cardiomyopathy. It's that heart issue that this breed struggles so much with. That's the typical dog. I've heard that for like best case scenario from the studies, it sounds like 2 years of survival after diagnosis, even when it's caught as early as absolutely possible. But it's hard to tell, right? Because you don't know what you don't know. So you can't judge yourself in hindsight. I certainly won't. The great thing is, look at it this way. You had so much extra time of being a little bit more relaxed and not so worried about the future and really being in the moment with your dog. You gotta look at it positively. But yes, start echocardiograms regularly when your Doberman is 2 years of age. For the rest of you out there, that's generally good practice. And then follow up with that every year after that. So hopefully there's any arrhythmias or irregularities with the heart, you can catch it really early on. And Holter exams are great too, which is basically a echocardiogram type of device that you wear for 24 hours and it's analyzed. Talk to your vet, but yeah, stay on top of the DCM thing for sure. Now, Darby's big mistake, it's a long one, but essentially she underestimated the intelligence of her dog. What happened was her Doberman bonded strongly to her husband and learned that he could hide the car keys for her husband's keys in the couch in the corner and prevent him from going to work. And he did this once and it worked. He had to stay home, but then the next day, her husband got out the spare keys, the dog found those keys and hid those in the couch. And it wasn't until they kind of spied on their Doberman and saw their Doberman stealing their checkbook and stuffing that in the corner of the couch that they decided to go looking, and they found both sets of car keys. Her husband had to miss 2 days of work, all because the Doberman didn't want to be left alone and figured out, hide my owner's car keys and my owner can't go to work. So don't underestimate the intelligence of these dogs. This was a great example from Darby of what these dogs are capable of. Usina Ramsey said that her biggest mistake was not switching food, dry kibble, soon enough, or trying different kibble to ease her dog's diarrhea. She finally found a brand, she said, that changed her whole personality, gut, and poop health. She said, I found also a huge benefit was pre and probiotics. Took me so long to figure this out. Her vet never mentioned biotics nor to try beef kibble. And she said she's a first-time Doberman owner. It was all trial and error. Dobermans are so smart and so intelligent. I love the breed so much. I couldn't agree more. Super important what you feed and put into your high-performance Doberman. These are high-performance dogs, which is why I always recommend Ollie. I actually first tried Ollie's human-grade dog food service with my Doberman Arlo a few years ago, and I was honestly really blown away by the effect it had on Arlo fairly quickly too. Arlo made it really clear, even after just his first few meals, that he was loving his new fresh meals. And recently we had a Doberman Planet viewer named Anna try Ollie for the first time with her Doberman Booker, and well, here's what she had to say.
I've been feeding Booker Ollie's fresh human grade meals for about 2 weeks now, and I have noticed a ton of changes in him. He has a lot less anxiety, he's calmer throughout the day, he seems to have a easier time focusing, and he actually even listens better to me now, which is amazing. He has such great general behavior. He's just relaxed now and such a good dog, and it's freed up a lot of time for me to enjoy life with Booker. Also, it has seriously been so wonderful.
And yes, there are definitely a few things I recommend repeatedly on this channel, and you'll see me. I really believe in these things such as DNA testing and tracking your Doberman's daily exercise for their benefit. And you're gonna continue to hear me honestly talk about the importance of feeding a quality diet to your Doberman with real clean ingredients, no preservatives, no fillers, and one that has high quality sources of protein. Super important. Just follow the link in the description down below and use the coupon code Doberman Planet in all caps, all one word at checkout to get a big discount off your first box of food with them. That way you can try it out and see the changes in your dog too. Okay, the next one, and this is kind of a big deal here, guys. Emily said that training for neutrality during critical socialization period, that was her biggest mistake. She said, I always let my puppy say hi to dogs on a leash and play with any dog she wanted because I thought socialization meant having your dog interact and get excited by dogs or people, but I didn't realize that overexcitement could also lead to frustration-based reactivity. I wish I had practiced engagement with me earlier and taught her how to be neutral in those situations. Oh my God, Emily, you exposed something about my channel and it blows my mind that this has been overlooked. I I've done a lot of socialization stuff on this channel before, and I gotta admit, here's a big mistake of mine. I have not talked hardly at all, very little about working on neutrality with socialization. Super important, guys. Go look it up if you want a crash course on it. I'm gonna do more on this in the future, but socializing your dog, yes, it's good to get them as many experiences as possible, but training for neutrality with the socialization is super important. Basically, have you ever seen those dogs, service dogs that are so good at ignoring other people as they go by? Now think of this. If you let your dog just treat everybody like a play toy, every person they cross, every dog they see, everybody, they're gonna start to think that the whole world is really a big giant play toy just for them. And this is great because they get lots of socialization. They get to see everybody and pet everybody when they're younger, but when they're older, it absolutely leads to frustration-based reactivity when they're on a leash. So, yes, socialize them as much as possible, but also teach them a little bit of neutrality on the leash, meaning teach them how to walk by people and ignore them, how to walk by other dogs and ignore them. And when you give them a release command or you tell them it's okay or time to socialize, then it's time. Duke said, we were fortunate we enlisted the services of a top trainer. He did a great job, my wife and I. The handlers must be trained properly, and then we are able to train our dogs. We have our Dobie now going on 12 years, and it's been a pleasure for all. This is so true. This is not a mistake that he made, but I'm including it in this video because it really is true. I feel like the best trainers in the world for dogs, they train the owners the most. Like 90% of their time should be spent training the owners. 10% maybe on the dog, because you got to give the owner the tools to be able to reinforce this and do these things on their own. So I just had to include this because I think that's an amazing point. Train yourself up and find a trainer who will really focus on you, the owner, and getting you familiar and giving you the tools, because that's how you're going to break through with this breed. Kelly said that her biggest mistake with her Doberman, she said, I wish I had exposed my dog to more situations like thunderstorms, other dogs walking by in the park, and so on. I got her when I had 3-year-old twins, so I was limited with puppy time. She's 8.5 now. She's the best girl ever and is living a great life, but I could tell she was sheltered in certain scenarios. Super true. When you're socializing, don't forget the other stuff. Don't forget fireworks. Don't forget thunderstorms. Don't forget sirens. All those things. How do you do it? Because you can't predict a lot of those things. Go on YouTube. Let those things play in your house on occasion. As long as your dog remains calm, you can keep doing it and they'll get much more used to it. Don't overlook the little things during the socialization period. Okay, Tony, and this is a big one. So many owners mess up here. Not following through on commands that he would listen for a moment, then do what he wanted to. And actually, we had another comment very similar from Lost who says, boundaries, firm, don't give in. You have been advised. So true. This is the biggest one, guys. The biggest. Have I said that a couple times in this video? The biggest? About one of these? I think so, but okay, whatever. This is the biggest. Have strong boundaries with your Doberman. Don't give in. If you tell them that something needs to happen, make sure it happens. If you tell them they gotta drop that ball, make sure they drop that ball. If you tell them they gotta come and they're in the yard and they don't come, well, get their leash, walk over, clip it on, and bring them over to you. It's super important to have consistency, have your boundaries, and don't let them bend at all. If you do, the dog will take note right in their head that you bent on that boundary, and guess what? They're gonna push harder in that same way next time because they know that's a chink in your armor. Look, guys, truly, it's okay to make mistakes. And honestly, I don't judge any of these people who fessed up to their mistakes for this video, or really anyone else for making mistakes, especially with a unique dog like a Doberman, and especially through the lens of hindsight. I mean, frankly, none of us would pass that test. I know I wouldn't. And really, truly the best thing you can do is to learn from your mistakes and the mistakes of others. So make sure you're subscribed here by clicking the button down below, because otherwise you might not be notified about our future video release and you might miss that one piece of wisdom that could save you from making a serious mistake with your Doberman in the future. Also, please don't forget to check out the sponsor of this video, Ollie. The link will be down below, of course. Like you know, all the links are down there. We are proud to be an affiliate for them because, well, I mean, I do really believe in their dog food, and I've seen what a good fresh diet can mean for a Doberman. You own the Maserati of dog breeds, guys. Congrats. So, keep treating them like it. And of course, I'll see you next Sunday with another insightful video into this amazingly unique dog breed. Take care.